everything. I'm going to record this today more for like my rewatching so I can see how I did. But you know, if a clip of this ends up on social media, I'll try to give credit if you guys ask a question or something like that. But yeah, so just don't worry about that. That's for me. So, but thank you guys for coming. My name's Sam. I own Rise Strength and Performance. We're on the other side of the square. A lot of these faces I've seen before. Don't know all the names, and I want everybody to introduce themselves. We'll introduce ourselves. We'll go through a little exercise, like mental exercise, not a physical exercise, so don't worry. And then I'll give a little bit of a talk, and then we'll just have some time for like Q&A and chatting and everything, because I want to hear like what questions you guys have, what problems you guys are facing. You know, if you've been in business for a while, like how, or working at a company, building a portfolio there, how you've done it, and keys to success for other people here. So does that sound good? Sound like a plan? Okay, let's go around the room, introduce ourselves, just you know, your name, where you work, and like how long you've been in Lebanon. So we'll start here with Ryan. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Ryan Woodall. I am Vice President Lender for First Freedom Bank here in town, and I was born and raised here in Lebanon. So I've been here all my life, except for 4 years for going to college. So
Where'd you go?
Tennessee Tech.
There we go.
Yeah,
Nice.
Eagles fan. So, but no, I've always called Lebanon home, and you know, work here, live here, and want to raise my family here. So.
I'm Nancy Marquez. It's always weird saying my last name. I do photography, and I've been living here now 4 years in Lebanon. I want to say, yeah.
Hi, my name is Cameron Gwynn. I'm born and raised here in Lebanon, and I recently started working with my dad, Rob Gwynn, and I work with him. He has a State Farm agency here in town.
Cool.
I'm Caroline Guffey. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I was born and raised in Hartsville, but I've worked in Lebanon a lot, so I'm glad to be back and helping my community out.
Cool.
I'm Chris Corum. I work with That Crazy Guy, and then I've been in Lebanon for almost all my life.
I'm Cameron Denson. I own a photo booth company, and I moved to Lebanon back in April.
Cool. Welcome. Thank you.
I'm Phil Patrick, a general contractor, own Dean Home Co. And I grew up in a small little town of Vermont, New York border. So
Cool.
I'm sort of local, but local now, but not from here.
Gotcha.
Good morning. I'm Shannon Oklahoma. I'm the director at Provision Health Solutions. We are a home care company. I have been in Lebanon for 3 years. And sorry I didn't speak to you more than Sam because I can't recognize you when you've been here.
Yeah. A little different. Yeah. Thank you. Good to see you.
I'm Sarah Perry. I'm marketing and communications for the Chamber. I have worked in Lebanon for 8 years, but I've lived here for 5-ish.
My name's Carl Hoff, the owner of Legacy Photo Company. Sounds like we've got a lot of photo stuff going on. Love to chat with you guys. I'm in Lebanon since 2020. We just moved in off Julia.
Oh, boo! Wow. Wow.
We were on literally this side of 109
Done.
people. Now we're on this side of 109 in Louisville. So, yeah, trust me, I don't want the taxes either. But also got real heavy into app development. So CRMs, lead funnels, lead generation. So if anybody needs anything like that, I'm actually literally just got a potential gig yesterday with Nashville PD building a live translation app for them. So they need about 100.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm building that out right now. So seriously, if anyone needs help with like websites, we've got gold click funnels. I can build those. It's pretty insane, some of the stuff I've been able to build recently. So yeah, let me know.
Yep.
I'm Ethan Still. Lived here my whole life, except for 4 years when I went to UT, moved back, got my master's in Cumberland, so I've been here ever since. I am trained to be a State Farm agent and hopefully opening up a local agency here as well. And on top of just doing insurance, I also do investment plan services, so 401ks, Roths, college 529 plans, any investment services as well. So hopefully do more than just protect your money, hopefully make you some money.
My name is Gray Beatty. I'm a commercial deposit relationship banker at Wilson Bank and Trust. Been working here in London for 2 years. Grew up in West Tennessee, and my wife and I moved out to Hendersonville, actually. Been working here, like I said, for the last 2 years.
Cool, thanks.
We're at West Tennessee.
Union City.
Person.
Okay, yeah. Small.
Might be the only person in the world who knows where that is. Sorry. Keep going.
I'm Wally Barton. I'm a consumer small business lender at Wilson Bank and Trust here in town. I've been in Lebanon since I got out of high school. I went to Cumberland University, so probably about 8 years.
Cool.
My name is Casey Kincaid. I've been here all my life, but I go to Boston College right now. East End's right at Wilson Bank, but I'm recruiting for investment banking on Wall Street, so I'm just trying to get some relevant experience before I go.
Cool.
My name is Robert Lee. I grew up here in Lebanon. Went to UTSU after I came home from the military. Got a degree. Well, I actually went to school to be a high school English teacher. And then I started teaching and decided that I didn't want to be a teacher anymore. So I started a lawn care business. That's what I've been doing for about 10 years now, doing lawn care and landscaping work. So,
Cool.
my spiel.
Nice.
Martin Lawrence. I moved to Mount Juliet in 2020 from Chicago. Before that was in Virginia. I own Black Box APS. We're a custom design build audiovisual integration company for commercial spaces, churches, high-end residential.
Nice. Mike Runyon, Mortgage Mike, pretty self-explanatory. Grew up in West Tennessee, went to college at MTSU, and I've been in Mount Juliet since 2020, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, thanks for all those introductions. A wide variety of different types of professions, businesses, things we want to do. Who's in their first job that they set out for? They're still working. You too? Yeah, you. What were you a teacher at one point?
No, I actually worked at a law firm in Nashville because I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
Until I realized you had to work 80 hours being an associate. I was like, I'm going to banking.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, get out and schmooze and do all those things. Yeah. That's good. Well, I want to talk today about turning pro and going from dabbling on the edges of what you like to do and fully leaning into what you really want to do in life and what you feel like you're called to. And I'm really passionate about this because I dabbled on the edges for a really long time. I spent a decade working in politics out in Washington, D.C. So I spent 3 years on Capitol Hill, about 5 years at a think tank, and the last 2 years with a governor out in D.C. And during that time, I was really unhappy, didn't like it, but kept moving along because I was too afraid to step out into what I really wanted to do, which was own a gym. So I just trained friends on the side, dabbled here and there. And the entire time I was at work, I just kept thinking about writing programs, helping people, coaching people. And whenever I would actually help people with their fitness stuff, I would get really fired up and really passionate about it. And I was like, I never feel this way while I'm at my actual job. And I was in some pretty high level positions. The position I was in for the governor of Illinois, there were only 30 other people who had that similar type of job in DC. So there was fewer of those than there were senators out in DC. And my job was literally, I was interfacing with the White House, with when Trump was in the first time, with the members of Congress in our delegation and outside our delegation of Illinois, and then interfacing with the agencies in Illinois. So I was talking with everybody, meeting with everybody, doing all this stuff, and I could have continued on and sold my soul and been a lobbyist making $500,000 a year, whatever, and being miserable. But instead, my guy lost his reelection in 2018, and I had just broken up with a girl and was kind of I have a chance at a blank slate to actually go in all in on this thing of the fitness stuff that I wanted to do. And so I was 32 years old. I'm 39 now, I'm almost aged out of this group, so I'm glad to have the opportunity to talk right now. But 32 years old, I took an unpaid internship. Well, what I decided to do is I had like bought some weights, and I'd had weights like sitting around, and they'd always like stared at me. And I was like, it's like in the recession, or not in the recession, in COVID, when you bought the Peloton and then you rode it once and then it just kind of like sat there and was a clothes hanger. You're like, am I actually gonna ride this thing, or I'm gonna like sell it? So I was looking at these weights. I was like, am I actually gonna make money off these weights? Am I actually gonna help people with these weights? Or should I just sell them and just like put that dream to bed, like finally? Because I've always kind of dabbled. And so when he lost, I was single, and I was like, okay, here's my chance. And I listened to a podcast. I'd always been listening to podcasts. It wasn't like I just happened to listen to one, but one I'd been listening to, and he was talking about like burning the boats. So whenever you land, the Vikings, whenever they would go invade a country, they would land on the shores and they would burn the boats, as if saying like, we're not going back, we're here to conquer. And that's like kind of the feeling and the mentality I had whenever I was like getting out of that phase. It's like, I'm burning the boats. There's nothing else that's like gonna stop me from getting to what I wanna get to. So I took an unpaid internship at George Washington University. So I was an unpaid intern at 32 years old, making $0 in one of the most expensive cities in the nation. I lived in a group home with 3 other dudes. I had a bedroom that was about as big as like these like set of tables right here. It was like my bed was lofted so I could have a little tiny desk about this big so I could sit down and like write out my goals every morning. It was like really crappy situation. But I made it work. I didn't have any savings. Like I was like, I actually had a little bit of debt, so like not great. And then in order to take this internship, which were the hours were like early morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock till like 10 a.m. coaching collegiate athletes, I took up driving for Lyft. So I rented a car from Lyft and drove. I had to hit 100 rides every week in order to like earn the car for the week. And then every ride after that was my money. And so like my goal was Monday, I think I took off from driving. And then Tuesday through Friday was getting all my 100 rides, which was really hard to do during the week. And then Saturday and Sunday were my times to like make my money. And it was definitely like trying and challenging. I remember one time, like I stopped to get gas on a Sunday morning to go hit the brunch crowd, put the thing in the gas tank and like had my iced coffee as I was so burnt out. I needed like a ton of caffeine, went to get back in my car and just sit for a second, threw it in drive and I pulled off with the thing still in and still pumping. And luckily I had pulled forward just slow enough that it didn't rip the thing out, and it just fell out and was spraying gas everywhere. It was like oil slick out in the middle of the parking lot. So I was like, oh man, this is not good. So I just hung the thing up. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna drive today. And that helped get me through and make ends meet. I was like, I burned the boats. I was going through, as I realized I had this passion in my heart, but I didn't know exactly what I was doing. And I wanted to try to learn as much as possible in order to help as many people as possible. So the influence I desired in my life did not match the skill set. And I feel like a lot of people, when they decide to burn the boats, they overestimate their skill set and try to do too much too soon. And then they end up not being able to keep with it because their impact doesn't match their level of passion or knowledge at the time. Some of the things that led me to that point, like I said, I was thinking about fitness a lot. But not only that, I felt like the things that I was doing in politics were not helpful and were not fruitful and were not challenging me to be the most that I could be. Has anybody ever seen the movie Good Will Hunting? It's like a little bit of an older movie, because I'm older here. So show of hands. Who's seen it? Show of hands. You've seen it? Okay. It's a great movie. Well, I mean, it's like 99, something like that. I don't know. We got a kid still in college. He's like 20 years old. So So remember the scene whenever the professor was like gave Matt Damon the homework and then he like showed up at his office and like burnt it and he was like, you think this is hard for me? This is a freaking joke. And like, that's how I felt about my life in politics. It was like, you think this is hard? Like this is easy. It's stupid. It's not like challenging me to be more. And so I ended up like that mentality of like, gosh, like I want to do more. I'm pushing to do more. Like, where was that coming from? And I really feel like it was the Lord like pressing on my heart, like you are letting people down by not leaning into what you need to do and what I'm calling you to do. So like that's why you should turn pro. Like if you're dabbling on the edges and not going all in on what you need to be doing in your life, it's the Lord calling you to further sanctification through your profession. Like there is no boundary between church and work. Like your work is an expression of what the talents and passions God has given you. And if you're not like really hammering in on that, then you are not further sanctifying yourself because God will call you to bigger challenges in that than what you're currently doing. You're kind of letting God down. He still loves you, but just not as much. And then you're also letting other people down. So I've been able to help a ton of people because of me deciding to burn the boats and go all in. Not only like my clients, but also like friends and family, my employees now. I got one here. And so the scope in which my impact that I thought I was going to have just teaching people RDLs and how to not like hurt their shoulder while they're bench pressing has expanded a ton into a bunch of other areas. And my skill set has also expanded a ton from just beyond that. So if you think your passion and the thing that you love to do is frivolous and silly, it's not. It's on your heart for a reason. Like God put it on your heart for a reason in order to help people out. So lean into that and see where that journey takes you. Like Carl, he started out just being really good at taking photos of like school groups and teams and all that stuff. And now he's building an app for Nashville Police Department to help translate and reduce strife and help people out. Like that's huge. You don't know where that journey is going to take you. So going all in, burning the boats, going from amateur, dabbling around the edges to pro is going to be like, it's not life altering. It's like universal alignment with what God is like trying to do here on earth. So it's way bigger than just being better at your job or like being more fulfilled or whatever. It's that, but it's coming in alignment with what God is trying to do universally on the earth.
I'm keeping the photography. I'm not burning that. So you know.
Yeah, still doing photos, Carl. Good. Yeah.
Way too much.
Yeah. So, any questions on that? Any questions for like anything? So, I have like some key points as far as like things to think about, like while you're going pro. And if you guys like who have businesses who've been in it for a while, like, or even, and like to go pro, you don't even have to leave your job. And I'm not saying that because I have an employee here. Like, I'm saying that like, Ryan, like you can be pro at your job and make a huge impact working for somebody else. You don't have to work for yourself in order to go pro. You know, does that make sense? You know, like you can be a life altering agent and an agent of God in your company without like owning the company. He's just going to keep giving you more and more on your plate until maybe you grow out of it. Maybe you become part owner or however it works at a bank. You get your shares and stuff and
Become CEO or president.
Yeah. You get up there. So there's opportunities there. So before I go on, because I've got some like helpful practices in turning pro. So like few things you can do. Is anybody Anybody had any similar experiences? Magic Mike?
Don't call me that.
Mortgage Mike, what we got?
Yeah, so as far as like the burn of the boat, so the Cortez was the general who, when he came onto a battlefield, his men were complaining and they were starting to try to turn back, so he burnt the boats and was like, hey, we're gonna win or we're done.
Yeah.
So for me, it was, I've always gotten this business, or just as a person, I've always led with a servant's heart. That's what God called me to do. As long as I am of service, I feel I am doing what I was called to do. But with this business, when it got really easy back in 2019, 2020, I became transactional, and I didn't like that. The money was great, but like I was miserable. It was the worst time of my life. And so it took me a few years because I couldn't really understand it. Like why on paper I was having this success, but I was just beat up. I was miserable. I was drinking way too much at the time, and I was just trying to numb like why that emptiness was there. And so I decided a year and 10 months ago, I was like, I'm gonna burn the ship. I've got to change. And I didn't want to get out of the business because I love what I do. But for me, it was like, that's not going to be the focus. It's not going to be my identity, right? Because when 2021 hit, 2022, and the business started to suffer, I suffered because that's where all my self-worth came from. It was like, well, I'm only as good as my numbers this month. My numbers are not good, so I'm not good, which led to more bad habits. And then so the turning point for me was I need to be of service. So whatever that means, I wake up in the morning every day and it's like, I'm going to be of service. Hopefully that means, I'm Mortgage Mike for the day, or sometimes it means I'm helping out a friend. Sometimes it means I'm doing stuff with the church, or whatever I can do as long as I'm of service. That to me was when it turned pro, because I'm not focused on being a pro at being Mortgage Mike. I'm focused on being a pro of being of service to God, to others. And since then, business has been great, but like if it wasn't, I'd still be okay, because every day I wake up, I am of service. And for the morning stuff, like I wake up at 5 because I have 2 huskies and they kind of just wake me up. I begin my morning, I'm of service of God. I say my appreciations, what the things I'm grateful for, and then for like the next hour, I'm hanging out with dogs, and then for the rest of the day, it's like, okay, where can I add value to other people? So that to me is kind of what's my definition of what it took to become a pro.
Yeah. And I too also have a morning thing and an evening thing. And when I first started the business, I was like on it. Like I was doing it every single day. And I'm a very visual person, so I made a visual tracker for me for the key things I needed to get done every day. Do you guys want me to go over that with you? Would you be interested in that? Okay. So I had an evening routine and a morning routine. And then I had things I wanted to get done every single day. And those things were like praying, a social media post, either like a video, photo, written, something like that. Just because that's what I need to do for my business. Maybe it looks different for your business. Sit down and figure out like the key performance things that you need to do in order to get you to the next step, what you want to do, either in your business, at your work, like whatever. So like for me, it's just like if I'm posting every day, I'm getting in front of people's eyes, and that'll help grow the business. So it doesn't have to be posting on social media. I'm not a Gary Vee kind of guy. Like it's what I had to do at the time. I'm not posting every day now, but I'm still doing something productive every day. So morning routine, evening routine, prayer, social post, reaching out to like a friend or family, and then reading. So like reading like 10 minutes a day. Something just it's a very low bar, something I can do every day. So I had like one of those big old wall calendars at my house. And it was like just to say this is like the week or whatever. So every day like I would do like morning routine, evening routine, prayer, social post, reach out to a friend, and reading. So I would try to fill the box every single day. It's like, okay, that's a complete day. And it wasn't anything like super like daunting, anything I couldn't handle, but and it wasn't anything that was gonna alter my life just doing that one day, but I did it like literally like 6 months straight without like missing anything. And that like just like parabolic growth, just like getting not only like more clients and more money, more impact, all that stuff, but also like refining me and making me better. So like developing a way to like track the essentials that you need to do. And I'll go over the morning routine and the evening routine, and it just helps set a frame. So I think like whenever you pray and ask God for things, he's gonna respond, and you're trying to like pull, like you're working with him on it. Like he put it on your heart, and then you invite him into it whenever you're praying. So these things are kind of, it's a way to help set the frame and bring him along with what you want to do. So the evening one I think is more important than the morning because it sets the frame. Like say you get a crappy night's sleep, or like whatever happens, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, doing an evening routine will help like make that day less crappy. And if you can have a 70% day instead of a 30% day more often, like that, whenever you have a bad day, that's way better than having a 30% day. Does that make sense? Like make your crappy days less crappy, you're gonna have more success in the long term. Even if you're not as productive that day, but you're still getting more done. So in the evening routine, I wrote out like these questions. So favorite part of my day was, so thinking, getting happy, feeling good. Who I impacted the most was, and I can like send this along. Something I could have handled differently was, and how I'll do better in the future. So like a two-parter there. One thing I did to advance my goals today was, and then the final question, which I love the most, is how I choose to wake up in the morning. And I would usually write like grateful or fired up or focused. And then whenever I woke up in the morning, I would literally be more focused. Okay, like I decided I'm going to be focused. Here we go. Like let's lock in. I'm not gonna doom scroll on social media while I'm drinking my morning coffee or whatever. Then the morning routine, one word for the feeling I want to create today. So I want to feel fulfilled, accomplished. And so like throughout the day, if I'm doing stuff that's not, like that I know won't let me feel fulfilled, it's like, okay, why am I doing that? Like turn away from it. So it helps keep me a little more within the guardrails. So one word I want to feel for, one word for the feeling I want to create today. One thing I'm willing to do to create that feeling. So staying off social media, making sure we're checking in with friends, like whatever that thing is, reaching out to your accountability friend. One thing I'm most excited for. One thing I'm proud of in my life. This is a good question for me because I have like a lot of self-worth problems and like never really felt worthy of like being in a room, being in front of like doing things that required me to be more than who I thought I was. I thought I was always way down here. So whenever I would think of like write down in the morning things I was proud of, it would help kind of like flip that script early on that like, I'm kind of a loser. Like, no, like remember that time you changed the heater core in your Jeep and you did a cross-country road trip? Like that's pretty sweet, So like, yeah. So then you it builds more positive momentum and gives you more, like confidence isn't built just because you have it. You're not born with it. It's built through evidence. And the more you can convince yourself that you are worthy, the more you will feel worthy. Okay. And like, I could sit there and read the Bible and like say that stuff like tons and tons and tons and times. I've tried. It helped some to know that I'm loved by God, but eventually like I have to also like, there's two sides of that. I have to convince myself also that I've done things that make me feel worthy. Just be careful going down that road too much. You don't want to, yeah.
So 2 questions.
Yeah.
Any chance you could get that to Michelle and have her email it to the group? Because I would love to like.
Yeah, I can send it along for sure.
And I'm sensing a little bit of Atomic Habits with the wall chart, but any other books that y'all like helped you form some of this stuff?
Well, the book Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield was awesome. If you haven't read that, definitely read that. Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield, amazing. Atomic Habits is good. How to win friends and influence people. I'm trying to like visualize my library. A lot of like autobiographies, biographies. I'll get back to you on that. So that was another question. So are you guys writing stuff down? You want me to keep going on the morning questions? You good? Okay. The next question was 3 emotions I want to feel less of and more of today. So, emotions like shame, guilt, anxiety, like, and whenever I'd start to feel that stuff creep up, it's like, no, I want to feel less of that. I'm not putting my energy into that today. I want to feel more grateful. I want to feel more in tuned. I want to feel more present. And then like kind of reorient whenever my brain starts to go down that bad path and put it in the good path. And the more you rewire that brain, like we have neural pathways in our brain. And the more you think of yourself as less worthy, or more of you think of yourself as shame-filled or guilt-filled or whatever, the more you're going to just immediately go down that path. It's like whenever you like pour out a glass of water, like the water is going to find and continue to go down the biggest path. And that's how you get those big gullies. So if you stop feeding water into that gully, eventually like the water will find another way and dig another path of growth rather than negativity, which ultimately I think the devil is just trying to convince us that we all suck and force us down that path. So that's another good one. So 3 emotions I want to feel less of or more of today. And then another one that I really like is who needs me to show up on fire today? So like, who needs me to show up for them? And I would think of my day, like, okay, I've got Rhonda in my 7 o'clock class. She's coming back from an injury. She's really down on herself. Like, I need to make sure I'm on for my 7 o'clock class. So, any questions on that stuff? Anything? Okay. So I want to just talk about, like, I hit on it a little bit about the long-term effects of like turning pro, but I just want to like draw a visual. I was reading a book, 10X is easier than 2X recently. And it was like talking about like the 80-20 rule, like 80% of our results are from 20% of our work. And so if I think about like what I was doing in politics, it's like here was my politics and then here was my fitness as far as like impact in the world, just like a tiny little bit. Like that's what I felt like I was doing. So whenever I like started to zoom in on my fitness, like my impact started to grow from here to here. And then like, this is just me learning. And then let's just say 20% this is another 20% of my skill set that I was doing. So whenever I leaned into that skill set a little more, this is what that total skill set brought me here. So this is whenever I was working in politics. This is whenever I had the internship. This is whenever I got another job in DC at a strength and conditioning gym. And then moved to Nashville, have even more influence, more autonomy, because now I'm like an independent business owner, okay? And this is like more skills, more impact I'm having. Then I opened the gym and I'm here, impact, skill set continues to grow. And I'm still like training and doing all these things now. But now, like Chris here, he's an employee. So now I've trained him up. So now my impact is like doubled out to here. And like this skill set here is like coaching and training other coaches so that they can be good coaches, because there's a lot of bad coaches out there. And so just the level and scale and skill that you build over time from like, even though you think it's a stupid little thing, like, oh man, like I don't really want to lean into this job. This job kind of sucks. Like, well, you're there right now. Do really good. Okay. I had an internship. It was horrible at an insurance company back in the day, but it taught me put in the work, do the dials, get told no, like all that stuff. So even like for you younger folks who are just doing internships, you can get like, know what it's like down on the streets, while you're up on Wall Street, don't forget about us little guys. Like the things you learn early on will just continue to just like build and build and build and build, if you choose to have that like type of mentality. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking a lot and would love to like chat and hear from you guys a little bit more. Any questions for me before I like turn it over? So I've kind of hit everything I wanted to hit. Yes.
I have a question, but there's a QR code going around on this laminated piece of paper. If everyone could check in or sign in, we don't have a sign-in sheet. If you'll scan.
Oh, okay.
What made you move to Nashville?
I'm from Illinois. Illinois sucks.
Taxes are rough.
Yeah, taxes are rough. Nashville's sweet. So when I first moved to Nashville, I rented a house and there was a garage there. So I started training people in December of 2020 out of the garage. Printed off flyers with I moved to Nashville with like $900, like one extra month of rent. So I had to like find clients ASAP. So I did a Christmas Toys for Tot drive out of the garage, like went around my neighborhood, handed out flyers and got like 5 clients from it. So, because like people were still kind of COVID times wanting to work from home, like work out but couldn't go to the gym, like whatever. So they were coming down to my garage and I was training them there. During COVID in DC, I was like driving to people, like doing travel personal training. So then I started doing travel personal training in Nashville. Like the thing that I thought was stupid and annoying in DC, like turned into a huge skill and I had like tons of clients doing travel personal training in Nashville. Then when I opened the gym here, like I gave up all those clients to open the gym here. Yeah. Good question, Chris.
Can you repeat what you said one more time? 80% of your work is what? 20% of?
20% of your work, it's 80% of your results. So finding what that 20% is and leaning more into that and getting rid of that 80%. Delegating it, handing it off, and not getting rid of it as if like you don't care, but training somebody else to do what you can do so you can focus on your unique ability to continue to grow. Like my unique ability in Rise, like yes, I can coach really, really well. I've spent a lot of time doing that, but marketing, sales, like getting out there and doing that. And I'm lucky enough to have great coaches who want to learn. And so I've taught them that part so I can continue to do the sales and marketing part and just the overall like vision of the company.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know like I love the whole burn the boats analogy and stuff too, but as someone who I guess I'm using insurance as a stepping stone to open up other businesses that I want.
Good.
Do you think, yeah, I guess it's more like a personal you question. Do you think you could have stayed being a lobbyist as a stepping stone to build up capital for your other businesses, or do you think the only way you could have done it was to go all in and start?
I think at that point, it was the only thing I could do. I couldn't have gone on to make money to open a gym. And the faulty thinking in that is thinking that it needs to be perfect in order to get going to do the thing you want to do. Like Ryan was an early client. We did something through the chamber and him and some buddies like came over and worked out. I literally had like dumbbells that I bought from Goodwill, a wooden dumbbell rack that like was falling over. Like
I had to get a tetanus shot.
yeah. It was very, very sketchy. Like, dude, it was awesome. It was awesome. I still got it. Still using it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you like thinking you have to get a certain amount of money before you do that thing, I think is kind of, you don't have to do that. What is it like? What's the stepping stone? You want to do like the financial planning stuff and.
I don't know. My plan one day is to open up a gym because I have a friend who wants to do personal training. It's like one day long term, I want to get back into that.
Yeah.
I potentially want to go back to med school since I gave that up. So,
Okay.
Things I want to do, but
Yeah.
the stepping stone for me is hopefully.
Well, I'm looking for coaches, big dog. Come on down. Come on. We're growing. Then so my other coach, Kara, she's doing all of our morning classes. She's doing a degree through Cumberland for nursing. So she's working 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then going to school the rest of the day because that's what she wants to do. So she's using me as a stepping stone. It's totally fine. So if you want to use me as a stepping stone to go back to med school, do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to start like an online fitness business right now, so I'd like to get into that too.
Okay.
I'm doing some coaching work.
Okay.
I'm really big into AI, so like I'm trying to see like how we can use AI to like advance health and longevity and stuff.
I got you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I literally just taught an entire conference in Las Vegas.
Bye, Shano.
I'm also like kind of like a CRM, but in like finance careers and stuff, you have to network a lot. So I was kind of trying to make like an automated networking tracker, and I have to do like a web app for it. I made like a no-code demo type deal.
I've got a full directory of 5,000 photographers in Nashville.
Dude, yeah, I'd love to get in on the web app development.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get funding from it, from alumni with like an entrepreneur center.
Funding for what?
For building the web app.
Nah, you don't get it.
No?
You need $200.
200?
And 100.
I'll give it to you.
No, no,
I'll invest. I'll invest. Yeah, I'll invest. Yeah.
Royalties on every download. No, seriously, if you're good at putting puzzles together and figuring out like the logic and stuff, yeah,
I'm trying to build it from scratch myself, but it's just like, it's
I know.
really difficult. Yeah.
I know. AI has come a long way.
So start smaller. Build other stuff. Like don't just jump right into that big thing. Like start learning some other things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that on the side of like school and like all the network.
Why are you going to school?
I mean, I want to do investment banking because of the exit opportunities. I don't want to stay in that, but it's like a fact.
So you want to make a lot of money to go do something else.
Yes.
Just start doing something else.
I'll kind of touch on that. So like talking about going pro, I was forced to go pro. So I was working for another AV integrator when I moved down to Nashville from Chicago. They brought me down here to open up their branch. COVID hit. I got fired from them on a Friday morning, walking to a client's home. So walking to the client's home, said, hey, it was like one of my first clients that I was down here, and said, hey, this is what's going on. You know, I'm gonna finish up what we're doing here today, but you know, they just let me go. Once I figure out what I'm gonna do, yeah, I'll let you know. So I had my pity party over the weekend. That Monday, got my paperwork filled out. I had, by that next Friday, had 90% of the vendors that I was selling before had me signed up direct. So it was like things just never changed. So, and then since then, you know, I mean, things have just grown. So that was in October 2020. And so kind of, you know, to y'all's point of like needing all this money and things like that, like, I mean, I literally got fired and the next week just went with it, right? So you don't necessarily need a bunch of money. You don't need a bunch of investors. You don't need to have to worry about all this overhead. Like I started the company with really no overhead, working out of the house off of my laptop that I had, and have grown it. And we're doing about $3 million a year in revenue on all these projects, downtown Nashville. So you don't need this big influx of cash or to worry all of that. To his point, you need $200 to do that. Jump and do what you want to do now. Don't worry about, I've got to spend all these years building up this money to have kind of this nest egg, especially with you guys who are super young. Like, do it now, fail now, learn from it, and pick yourself up and do it. I mean, I failed, when I got fired, I'd say I failed, but we had 2 kids at the time, now we have 5. I mean, like, there's no right time to do it. The right time to do it really is now, and if you fail, then you fail, but you're gonna learn from it and do what you want to do now, because otherwise you'll get stuck in the rut of, you'll start seeing the money, the paychecks for the finance will come in, you'll start liking that, and you're like, oh, well, I'll do it one day.
Yeah.
And then now you've wasted 5-10 years that you could have been building it up where, you may not make as much.
Or somebody else will make the thing.
Right, and then
Like,
you're way behind.
Then you got to come up with another thing. Yeah.
So I'll jump on that bandwagon. John Maxwell has a great book called Failing Forward, and you basically got to make a certain level of mistakes before you get to a certain level. So the easiest way to get started is just to start making those mistakes. And also as a business owner, the biggest thing holding you back is what's between your ears. And I mean, everything Sam said, that's one of the reasons I came, so I knew Sam was really good at this, and I'm like, I want to see what he's got going on right now, but like developing those habits, like just if you could implement what Sam's, because I know I'm trying to implement it, but it's really hard when you got kids and stuff, and if you can develop those habits now, go out and make a few mistakes, bounce back from those mistakes. I was thinking this morning on my way in about a hire we're having, I'm like, I wonder if he's made any mistakes or really failed in life, because if he's failed in life, he's gonna bounce back. Like, he has that resilience. So I would say anybody that wants a career, just go start making some mistakes and safely. And don't cliff jump or anything like that. Risky.
Yeah, you can cliff jump. You can cliff jump. It's fine.
Make sure there's water.
Yeah. Just make sure. Yeah. Deep water. Yeah.
You're talking about making mistakes. There's also, whenever you I just forgot what I was doing. Go ahead. I'm distracted because I interrupted you. Go
I'm
ahead and
sorry.
say
No,
your
you're
name.
okay. I was just gonna add, it's like with photography, a lot of the people I follow who have like all of this, super fancy equipment and gear will tell you you can do amazing work with the gear you already have.
Mhm.
So then it's like your focus is like even if you only have just your phone, we'll learn how to utilize your phone, how to create images or video properly with your phone, and then that's going to translate to then when, oh, I've made enough money with my phone, I can now buy an actual camera, and then you learn how to use your camera. So it's just building that skill set.
Using the tools you have.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was thinking of was, there's a difference between being poor and being broke. And you talk about making mistakes. People that are good at starting a business or being an entrepreneur, you can go broke and make your money back again.
Mm-hmm.
If you screw up, or if you make a bad call. So that's one thing I've always remembered, because you'll have ups and downs, highs and lows in business. Like for me in the landscaping work, wintertime is a super low point. A lot of people just quit, and they go right back to a 9 to 5. They're like, man, I can't make this happen. But, I just found a way around that. I thought, well, here I've started a business and it's a seasonal kind of work. So how can I keep doing this but get by in the winter? So I would go work seasonally for a company in construction during the wintertime. And when I went into that, I was up front with them and told them I'm a seasonal employee. Don't expect me to be your, top go-getter guy, because in springtime I'm going to leave. And I was just open with them about it. I was like, I'll work hard for you while I'm here, but when about springtime, I've got an obligation to go run my business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that for several years until I got to the point where I could be a year-round operation. So I found a way around.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in the winter now?
I still do landscaping work, but I spend a lot of time with my family.
Nice.
There you go.
But there's other things to do,
Yeah.
maintenance and equipment and finding ways to grow and expand. And this past winter, actually, I took a lot of time just to learn and educate myself on stuff that I was maybe not as keen on. As far as business administration type stuff. And like I said, I went to college to be a teacher. So when I started a business, I was winging it.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just happened. It was an accident. I started doing something on the side. Well, I'll give you the full spiel. When I went to go buy a mower because I had a very big yard. Right? I was tired of borrowing my wife's daddy's mower. So when I went looking at the mowers, there was, different levels of mower, and I thought, well, I'm going to get a medium level mower, right? Because it's a big yard, I wanted a zero turn, but I couldn't afford a great big one, and I didn't really need a great big one. So I thought, well, I'll start with one of these, and it was kind of like a heavy-duty residential mower. And I thought, well, I can finance this mower. The payment's $130 a month. So if I can go out and mow 2 or 3 yards and make $100, $150 a month, that's a free mower. It doesn't cost me anything to mow my yard now. So it started with that. I was just doing a few yards to pay for the mower payment, so that I didn't feel a pinch, right? And my dad thought I was nuts. And that was another thing I was thinking of is you can't always listen to the naysayers, even if they're close to you. You want to accept some things, but just be careful, because there's a lot of people that will tell you, oh, you shouldn't do that idea, or you shouldn't get into that kind of work, or you shouldn't buy that piece of equipment, because everybody's got an opinion.
Thanks for coming.
Right? So my dad thought I was crazy for buying this expensive mower, but after a couple of years, I started showing my dad my Schedule C's and saying, look, that mower that you thought I was nuts for buying because it costs more than your car, look how much money I'm making now with it, So that was kind of how it happened. I started doing a few yards, and then it started growing, and then more referrals and more side work. And then before long, I was making more money doing that than my other job, my full-time job.
And the thing you said about, what did you say? It was, you're going to fail, you're going to go broke, but you can make that money back. Because you have this acquired knowledge and skill set that you did to make, let's just say you make $500,000 or whatever, over a span of several years, but then you go zero, you don't make any. Okay, well, I've learned how to make $500,000 again, I can do that again. And you just go out and figure out how to do it again, just in a different way. Yeah. Yeah. So like failing will happen, but you know how you got there, so you can get back there again. And I think that's also what holds people back. It's like, man, if this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, well, the skill set is still there. The product is going to change a little bit. So that could be a way to think about things to stop you from going in on it.
He was talking about broke and poor.
Yeah.
A lot of my highest level clients have been broke in their life at some point.
Yeah.
They've been broke in their life because they refused to be poor.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had to go out and make those mistakes early on.
Mhm.
It did cost them something, but because of that, they are now, $50-100 million net worth.
Mhm.
It's because they refused to be poor.
Yeah.
They could just keep this simple life of just doing the mundane things, but they decided
Yeah.
to step out.
Yeah.
And they had to fail to succeed.
Yeah.
That's most of life. You have to fail to succeed. And that's what they did. And, now they're very successful because of it.
Yep. Amen to that. And like that reminded me, like whenever I opened the gym, I was broke. It was either I get an apartment and rent an apartment, or I join like a coaching group to help me be better at coaching and like be a better business owner. And I lived out of the back of the gym. I joined another gym so I could shower and everything. And then like lived out of the back of the gym for 3 months so I could get enough money together to actually get an apartment. And then grew from there. So I was broke, but I wasn't poor because I was investing my money in myself. Like the biggest investment you can make is not in some university. For the dude who's on his phone. Okay, all right. Yeah, the best investment you can make is on yourself. So I'm sure you all.
Some of these type of like gatherings are really beneficial.
Yep, I agree.
You just learn from someone who knows a little more than you.
Yeah, and speaking of investing in yourself, he runs the education stuff, or some of the education stuff for the chamber, as far as like business education for business owners. So if you want to talk about that.
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. So we have the new small business education series. We've had two sessions. It's the second Friday mornings, except the next one's the 29th because of the fair.
Yeah.
But we're taking a professional from each domain of something you would need to know as a business owner. So sales, marketing, tax. We've had a business coach, legal, and so we're sort of trying to give you a how to start your business in a box every second Friday morning.
Where can they find that at?
Chamber, Sarah very nicely sent stuff out, but I could ask Michelle to send a thing to this group.
On the homepage of our website, there's a link to the whole series, so you can go in and RSVP to each event.
Yeah, I would also just say, the reason I had my hand up was, you're never too busy to invest in yourself. So I was like, oh, I gotta do this, and like, you're never too busy to come to something like this, because you're gonna leave with some $1,000 ideas. I mean, our friend over here, he might have gotten some life-changing advice this morning. So I came around with a lot of notes.
Yeah.
And, so I think that's, read a book, invest in yourself.
Get
the chamber
yeah.
education
Get some mentors.
network. Like there's a bunch of guys in here. I'm like, I need to get your card because I'd love to get coffee sometime or something like that. So.
And Philip's a great resource. He's on it. You guys should get coffee with him. He's sharp. He's sharp. Well, it's 9:10. You out of here, Carl?
Yeah, I got a 9:30.
All right, brother. Good to see you. Isn't your office just across the hallway?
Yeah, my office is right down the.
Yeah, you got a 20-minute commute. School zones. School zones, School zones.
No, it's over and off.
Boo! Get out of here. All right. Well, yeah, we can wrap it up. If you guys feel free to hang out. I'm sure y'all got to get back to desk jobs and doing all that stuff. And us freelancers are going to do whatever we want the rest of the day. Yeah. But thank you guys so much. This is a great conversation. I appreciate it. And feel free to ask questions or whatever afterwards. So cool. All right, brother. Good to see you, man. Yeah. Congrats again.
Yes, sir. If I don't see you again, congrats on the new kid.
Yeah.